I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Still living in Louisville?
Yes.
Now, is it a certain part of the city you represent?
Yes, I represent the West End of Louisville, Kentucky.
For somebody that's not familiar with Louisville, what's the closest major city one would be familiar with?
Cincinnati, Nashville, Indianapolis, St. Louis.
And how far are some of these cities from Louisville?
2 hours, hour and a half, and 4 hours at the most.
I kind of pronounced it differently than you. I kind of said Louisville, or you kind of said Louisville. Is there a certain pronunciation that's the correct pronunciation of it?
In my city, they have it in like 6 different ways. You can say Louisville, 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 you know. It's just different ways. In my city, that's how they have a thing. It's like pretty much like a trademark because everybody says it differently. Yeah. So it's like they have it around the city as in different ways, Louisville, you know what I mean? So I say Louisville.
Is there one overall way of saying it that people mostly say it as?
Louisville. I mean,
Louisville.
it's me saying it. It's me saying Louisville. Some people would say Louisville.
Yeah,
you know
I think that's how
Louis,
I pronounced it at first.
Yeah, so.
Louisville.
Louisville.
Now, okay, growing up in Louisville, paint that picture for us. What was that like for you?
Growing up in Louisville, I didn't travel a lot of places. I didn't seen a lot of things, and pretty much I was growing up in the poverty area, the downtown area. You know, around the downtown areas of most major cities, there is a poverty area close by. I don't know why. It seems like that in major cities I haven't been to. So I grew up what they call the hood, the ghetto, the street. You know what I mean? That's where I grew up. It was rough. Most likely you're getting involved in gang banging or selling drugs. That's how you seen, liquor store on every corner, that type of stuff. So that's what I was raised around.
Now, being raised around it is one thing. Being intertwined and embedded in it is another. Was that something you were able to avoid, or was that something that you eventually got sucked into, that type of lifestyle?
I would say that I was raised into it. I was bred into it. My family, keep it honest, ain't never had a job, but we always made a way of income, you know what I mean? So I was inbred into the street life around my neighborhood. I adapted to my environment, you know what I mean? So I was inbred to that. I wasn't just raised around and just saw it and went another way. I tried, don't get me wrong, went to college and everything, but at the same way, I'm raised that way. So that is the way I am, you know what I mean? But but what it did make me is a businessman. You know what I mean? I learned the side of business, not just street, but I learned that, if you could do numbers this way, if it's selling this, selling that, you could do it with anything in the world, So that's what I learned about the streets, you know what I mean? So it made me a more businessman than anything.
Now, when you mentioned you had a rough upbringing, what was maybe your roughest moment growing up for you?
My roughest moment?
Yeah. Hindsight 2020.
Let me say this. My mother and father didn't raise me. I live with my grandparents. My roughest moments, really, I would say, is just seeing I'm African American, first of all. So seeing my people just really swarmed and epidemic and all that into the crack cocaine area. You know what I mean? Now it's the heroin era, but that's not my time. My time was the crack cocaine era. So it was the roughest time was just seeing that and being raised into it. I got bullied, I got jumped into a gang, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, so, and this is all before the age of 18 years old. So that right there, that's the roughest times I've been into, you know what I'm saying? But seeing my people, be down and, pretty much addicted to this lifestyle and this habitat, it was really rough seeing that. You know what I mean? So that was the roughest time for me, really. You know, when I came up, when I was growing up, that was the roughest time for me. So, yeah.
What type of student were you in school growing up?
At first, keep it honest, I was an honor roll student. I was very advanced. It took about me till I got to high school when I start really, you know, dipping and dabbing. You know what I mean? You know, every school I went to was in the projects. Every school, from elementary, middle school, and high school, I was right in the middle of the projects. My high school was so. As high school, as I hit my real puberty era, and you know, feeling myself and all that, you know, I passed with flying colors. My school was like you get your credits done quick. So by my senior year, I really didn't give. I didn't have no reason to go to school because I didn't pass everything. So, you know, only thing I had to pass was English. I got distinguished in that. I passed that with flying colors and everything else. I didn't have to go to school no more. So, but I was a good student in school. I went to college at the age of 17. So, yeah.
Did you rap in school?
I've been rapping since the 5th grade.
Battled classmates? Were you into that?
No, I wasn't really into the battling. I was really into the freestyle cipher. You know, beat on the desk and start rapping. You know.
How'd you do in those?
Oh, I did great. Everybody, everybody knew. They started comparing me to a guy that I didn't met now. I never met him before, but they compared to this guy named Boosie. Before I even heard of him, they Lil Boosie. So that's who they compared me to when I rapped. And I never heard this guy. So when I heard him, I was like, damn, is this me? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that made me even more involved into his music and got into my music, you know what I mean? So that's who I look up to, pretty much. That's my biggest influence in music, is Boosie.
And you eventually did a record with him?
Yes, I eventually did a record. It was my goal. It was my dream to do a record with Boosie.
What was that like?
Ah, man, it was great. It was great. He's a real guy. He's a real guy. He's not somebody portraying an image. You know, he's not fake. Everything he's saying is real. And I got to have a conversation with him one-on-one in the elevator of the Fontainebleau in Miami. And what he's talking about is society nowadays. He ain't talking about nothing else. He's just talking about what the young kids are doing now. And he's a real guy. He's a real guy.
When you did the record with him, that was after his, I forgot how many years he did in prison.
Yes, that was after.
4 or 5 years?
Yes, that was after. I couldn't wait for him to get out. Couldn't wait.
How long after when he got out to the time you actually were able to do the record with him? 6 months, a year?
No, I say about, what time did he get out? Maybe, what did he get out in 2014, maybe? 15, maybe? Well, it took me to 2016 to do a record with him. At the age of 24, I did a record with Boosie.
And you actually cut it in the studio. It wasn't like you send him your Pro Tools and he sends it back.
No, I actually went down there. Thanks to my Stack Say Pray management. I told them one day they did a concert. They brought Boosie over to Louisville. I told them that I wanted a feature, but I didn't have my funds right at the time. I said when I get my funds right, I'm gonna do a feature with Boosie. I'm gonna holler at you. And about 2-3 months later, had my funds right to do it. Sent it over. Came down here to Atlanta, and went to Hot Beat Studio. And he pulled up. We handled the business first, and then we did the record.
And it was everything you thought it was gonna be.
Everything. I believe that he spit the hottest verse on my song since he been out. I believe it.
Because I know sometimes when I've seen other interviews or documentaries and somebody gets with somebody they looked up to or they liked or enjoyed or were fond of, it might have not, people might have not had the chemistry in the studio. They might have been disappointed by, okay, I'm finally with my idol, but this ain't what I thought it was.
Exactly. Nah, I didn't have that type of reaction towards him. You know what I mean? When I met him, I seen that he was a real boss. He's a real boss man. And me being the boss man I am, I respected that. You know what I mean? I really don't. Real recognize real, you know what I mean? So I recognize the real in him. You know what I mean?
What's the name of that record called?
Called Bad with the Bag. It's featuring Boosie Badass and my guys back in Louisville named B-Boy Maine. So it's called Bad with the Bag. It's gonna be released on WorldStar right now. The behind the scenes is on YouTube. You can just follow Marco Green, TPC, and it's gonna pop up.
After high school was over, did you go immediately into college, or did you take a break and then college came after?
I went immediately to college. I was just 17. I kind of regret going immediately into college because I wasn't fully grown in the mind yet. You know, I wasn't really ready to, you know, I went to a whole nother state, another city, so I wasn't ready for I was still immature. You know what I mean? I wasn't ready for the studying and, you know, when I got exposed to the partying and, you know, different things like that, I didn't focus on school. And then, you know, instead of like, you know, focusing on my bills and stuff, because I had to live in an apartment and I got kicked out of campus, so I had to live in an apartment and all that, I really lost focus in school because of my immaturity. So now, like if I was to go back to school now, it'd be good because I have the right mind state, you know. I know what to do, but then, no.
Thinking back with your experience and how you feel about it now, is there an appropriate age you recommend people to go to college?
Yeah, I recommend people to go to college when they're ready. Like I would say really, on a reality scale, now if you want to just get it over with, blah, 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 because some people go into college and then come out they go in with one aspect of one major, but then come out with another one because that was the easy route, like communications, you know, not to talk bad about communication, but just that's not the degree they wanted when they first went in, but because of how easy it was to get the degree or just to pass along, you know what I mean, to get, you know, because of the school loans and all that, they don't want to fail. The parents, I would advise people to go after they're 21. Because, you know, pretty much when you're in the age of that age, you're in a party. I mean, some people isn't, but some people are kids. They're into the partying and, you know, now they social media life and social life and, you know, they're not mature enough. They're not mature enough yet. Some people isn't. Some people are. Some people are ready for it. But I would advise to go out to 21 years old.
Now, was it something you were able to get an athletic or academic scholarship for, or is that something you had to pay out of pocket or student loan or something like that?
I did have an athletic scholarship until I got stabbed. I was a wrestler. I had a scholarship to Iowa State for wrestling.
Big school.
Yeah, I had a scholarship there, but I got stabbed and it disabled me. So pretty much it was just off academics, you know.
So when something like that happens and you get stabbed, something that was off campus?
Yes.
When you get stabbed like that and you're do they revoke the scholarship?
Well, it wasn't that. It was before I even went to college. It was in high school when I got stabbed, my senior year. So I was disabled for almost a year. And to this day still, I couldn't be able to do the same performance I was doing as before I got stabbed. And you know, into now, you know what I mean? So I can't do the same performance I was doing, you know what I mean? Just because of my disability.
So how does it work? You enter in Iowa State with the scholarship, and then it's removed. Like explain. What happened? What they seen that I just left it alone because I knew I couldn't wrestle. You know, I couldn't wrestle, so I left it alone. I never got that far to really know if they take away the scholarship or, you know, I didn't go that route. Once I got stabbed and see that I couldn't perform the way that I'm used to performing, I just left the wrestling alone. So. But you still went to Iowa State?
No. I went to WKU.
Oh. Oh, okay. So you didn't pursue the Iowa State.
No, I didn't.
But you were offered.
Yeah, I was offered.
I see. I got you. Now, that school that you just mentioned, what was your reason for that choice? Why that one?
Well, my longtime friend / brother, his name is Slim. They call him Slim Doja. He's a producer. He was going to the school. I was going to I had a choice between UK and WKU and IUS of Indiana. I heard that he was going to the school, so I said, man, we so close, let's just go to the same school. You know, so we was roommate. You had the option to choose your own roommate, so I made him my roommate, and that's what happened.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, you went on an academic scholarship at that point?
Yes. I
Okay.
had, you know, the ACT scores was good, and, you know.
So you didn't have to get a college loan or
No.
pay out of pocket? You had
Everything
free
was full. It was good.
Now, how much schooling did you get done under your belt?
I keep it honest with you. So I'll say a semester and a half. I lasted.
Because of the immaturity?
Yes.
Now, how does that work at that point? When you drop out, do you lose the scholarship that you had received?
Yeah, you lose everything. I mean, you lose and then you end up owing, I think. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, just like a deal, you know, if you back out of a deal, you know, you're going to end up owing, you know, it's like a contract. So, I lost when I backed out of school, yeah.
Now, what was your grandparents, what was their reaction to you dropping out?
To be honest, nobody cared. You know what I mean? At that time, nobody cared. You know, my father was in prison. He wanted me to go to the Army, so he really didn't care about me going to college. Everybody, my family's military. Everybody wanted me to go to the military. Everybody went to the military. So, college-wise, they really didn't care. You know what I mean?
Why not go to the military for you? Why not that option?
Because of my disability. Yeah. So
I see.
That's why I didn't go to the military.
Can you say what the disability is exactly?
I got stabbed right here in one of my main arteries. So, I can't feel 3 of my fingers.
Oh.
Yeah, and pretty much it's numb. I can't do it. I can't close it. You know what I mean? Just certain things like that. You know. So,
I see.
Yeah, it's not as strong as it used to be. You know.
Now, just curious, does that school that you went to, does that school equal to its reputation?
WKU?
Yeah.
Yes, party in school. I mean, it's a good university, don't get me wrong, but as well as the reputation, as everybody, the grown folks, everybody know, it's a party in school. Yes, it did. I party every day, literally, from Monday to Sunday, I party.
Did people know you even rapped while you were going to college?
No, I didn't. Yes, actually they did. I performed in talent shows. I was getting it started. Like I said, my roommate, Slim Doja, he was producing the beats, and we set up a mic inside the dorm, and we started the magic. You know, we started music. You know, we got kicked out of the dorm together and went and had to move into an apartment. We was the only freshmen, because as freshmen down there, you can't live in an apartment. You gotta wait till you're a sophomore. So as freshmen down there, we was the only ones with apartments. You know, so because we got kicked out the dorm, so we had the closet recording. You know. So.
Did you gain any type of fan base while you were there?
Yes.
Okay.
I gained from Nashville, you know, Clarksville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Bowling Green. You know, I was gaining my fan base.
Now, did you have any jobs growing up?
Yes, I worked at McDonald's. At age 16. And I worked at McDonald's in my college also, so yes.
So that's the only job you had?
No, not the only job. I done worked at plenty of factories and industrial jobs. I done worked in sales. I didn't have a lot of jobs. I probably had about a good 20 jobs up to now, you know.
20 jobs, that's a lot.
Yeah. Because in my city, temp agencies. I don't know if you ever heard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but temp agencies send you, you know, and you do different things. So
until you're done, or until your thing is needed, and then you go.
Exactly.
Now, any of those jobs you mentioned tough?
The last job I had was tough, and I would say more of a mental toughness than physical. I was installing airbags and dashboards for Ford, the side company for Ford called Forcia. I was installing airbags and I stayed there for 9 months, every day on time. They were supposed to hire me on the first 90 days, or at least get me started. They was hiring everybody else. I'm training supervisors and everything, and then that's when I got shot, and they let me go. So, off the back of that, that's the day I said I'd never work again. As why is this, as for an industry job or anything like that, for somebody else.
You said mentality.
Mental.
Mental. Why? Where does the mental part come?
Because it's so repetitive.
Ah.
Yeah, repetitive, doing the same thing for 10 hours, 12 hours, and, then you got to go home, you're tired, you probably get 2-3 hours of just you time, and then you're right back at work. So that was the mental thing. It was really mental toughness on it.
Any crazy stories dealing with any of those jobs? Anything that happened out of the norm?
Yeah, I didn't get accused. I didn't get accused for stealing, Never got caught, but I got accused. And just because of accusing, they didn't fire me or suspended me, and that's the only thing I could really
You did
say.
get fired for the accusing?
Yeah, I got fired for accused. Never said they had me on camera stealing, nothing. They just said that somebody said I was stealing.
Are they allowed to do that?
I don't know. It must be obvious that they are because they did it. You know what I mean? But because of attempt, you know what I mean? You're not up under a union or you know what I mean? So,
some loopholes.
Yeah. They can just let you go. They don't want it. You know what I mean? So.
Did you quit these jobs? Did you get fired from these jobs? What ended up happening with them?
My last job I got fired. Most jobs, I'm not a quitter. Most jobs I got fired. You know what I mean? I either got fired or laid off or suspended, something like that. So.
Well, yeah, I just had a brain freeze there. Yeah, you did get fired for the accusing.
Right.
But the other jobs, I meant, you got fired from previous jobs before that?
Yes, I got fired. Like I said, most jobs, either just laid off or the time was up, and it's just because I worked with Tim. But McDonald's was the only one that I quit. I never got fired there. I quit.
What were the other reasons of getting fired from
that was the only reasons. Only reasons. I was really, I wouldn't know what to say. I was pretty much a con. You know what I mean? I never really got caught doing nothing, but, I orchestrated a lot of things at my job. You know what I'm saying? If I seen it was worth something or something like that, I orchestrated, but I never did it hand to hand myself. You know what I mean? So I'll be the last one they come to. And it's pretty much everybody, rats or snitches or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Well, he's the one, the mastermind behind it, you know what I mean? So that's the reason why I got laid off from most of my jobs, so that's when I was younger. That's when I was immature.
You mentioned your grandparents in this interview. What happened to your parents?
My parents, like I said, my father, he was in prison. He was there. He was there as me growing up. He was there, but he was in he was in the streets. You know what I mean? So instead of putting me in his street lifestyle, he trusted me with his mother, which is my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? My mother, I don't really want to speak on. She's alive and well. She's a beautiful woman. But it's just she wasn't ready for her responsibilities, if it makes sense.
So no current relationship with her at this point?
Oh no, I have a current relationship with her.
Okay.
I have a current relationship. It's just that I'm grown now, but as I was growing up, it wasn't really a relationship.
I see.
Yeah.
How did that repair itself? Did you go to her? Did she come to you?
It's just, I have siblings. So my siblings is telling me how she is, And I got to understand it. At the end of the day, it's my mom. I came out of her, I'm born from her. So at the end of the day, I'm the reason why she's here. So I love her, you know what I'm saying? I love her to death because of it. She gave me birth instead of aborting me or anything else. So I love her to death for that. You know what I mean? So that's how me and her relationship goes, because I love her, I don't hold no grudges.
How long was your father in prison for?
He was in prison for 6 years. 6 years. So right in the smack of my teenage years, he was gone.
Was that hard for you to deal with?
Yeah. That's when I really got wild. That's when I really turned to the streets.
Mm. So
Even though
he got you with his mother, which is your grandparents,
mm-hmm.
while he was in the streets, and to kind of keep you away from that, you eventually went into the streets yourself when he disappeared.
Yes.
And not disappeared by choice. He was disappeared because he went to prison.
No, I didn't. Wait, hold on. Say the question again. What did you say the question again?
Okay. So, okay. Let me back it up. Okay, so he put you in the care of his mother,
right,
which is your grandparents,
mm-hmm.
to kind of keep you away from the streets.
Yeah, keep away from his lifestyle.
His lifestyle.
Because I'm in regardless where I'm.
And he was in the streets and his lifestyle. He wanted to keep you away from that.
Yes.
But when he ended up going to prison for his lifestyle, you ended up at some point going to the streets yourself.
Yes. Because as I was growing up,
it's almost ironic when you think about it.
Yeah. It was like 14, 15 years old, right in the smack time where you about to get your driver's license and all that. You know what I mean? This is right in the smack time, right when you high school, you're in the middle of high school and stuff. So you're learning a lot more. You know what I mean? You're interacting with more older people and not having a father figure there at the time, except it fell out behind the phone because he was in feds. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't go see him because he was shipped to, far places, other states. So I couldn't go see him on my own, at that time. All I could do was talk to him on the phone. So who I went to raise me for the rest until I got grown was the streets. You know what I mean? So
even seeing his outcome and he doing a prison bit, that didn't keep you away from dealing with the streets? Like, this could be a possibility of dealing with the streets. That didn't scare you off or kind of curb you from that choice?
No, it didn't, because I idolized him.
I see.
I idolized him. So he wanted to keep me away as far as possible. I idolized him, you know what I mean? And I seen a lot of things. So I wanted to be him. I seen how much respect he had, or how much respect he has, and very highly respected in my city. So I wanted that same respect. And I couldn't. I tried. It ain't like I didn't try to go the right way, or the way that the system wants you to go to school and do right, get a job, work, whatever. What I did was I took on the torch. I took on the heavy name of Marco. You know what I mean? So, but one thing I always said was I wasn't gonna follow his path all the way. You know what I mean? He didn't invest in businesses, but me, I said I'm gonna use the street to get me a legal business. Things that he was telling me that he wanted to do, I want to make it possible because he didn't. You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
Now, how old do you think it was when you entered that street lifestyle? Was it a particular? I know you 15. Said it was like your middle years there.
15 years old. 15 years old.
Thinking back on your time in the streets, any regrets?
I live life with no regrets. I live and learn. I'm still here. I don't regret nothing, really, because it made me who I am today.
Was it worth it? Was the risk worth the reward, or what you got out of it?
Yes, the risk isn't worth it. The streets ain't worth nothing. You know what I mean? That was me getting a faster way to getting where I want to really go. You know what I mean? Into a legal thing. I didn't do it to, I'm just going to get in the streets and just be a kingpin. I'm going to be the man. No, I went to the streets to get to feed my family, because I got 2 kids. And I went into the streets because I wanted to have my own business and not work for anybody. You know what I mean? So that's how it taught me. And then now I have a legal business, you know, and I don't have to be in the streets.
Somebody watching this, circumstances could be different for everybody, but somebody watching this, let's say they're a 15-year-old and they're thinking about doing the street thing, going the street route. What's the advice from someone like yourself to somebody like that? And again, circumstances could be different for everybody, but generally speaking, is there any advice you would tell somebody similar age as you, 15 years old, thinking about?
I'd tell them go to school.
Okay.
I would tell them go to school. I'd tell them the street life is not for you. Not saying not for you, but the street life is not the way you want to go, because the street loves nobody. The streets is always going to be here till the end of time. You know what I mean? So I would tell them that to focus, to really focus and study and go to school. That's what I would tell somebody. And try to stay, you know, even though that they might be hungry, this and that. I had a kid walk up on me last week and was like, hey, man, you think you can give me $5 before I go out here and do something stupid? I said, are you stupid? He said, nah. I said, so why would you go out here and do something stupid? He said, damn, you're right. I said, here go $5. But what are you going to do with that $5? You know what I mean? So I was like, look, bro, go get you a job or something. You know what I mean? Stay in school. He was young. I was like, stay in school and go get you a job, bro. I said, whatever you going through now, because he asked me in the point because I got to feed my sisters and brothers. So that's the reason why I gave him the $5 that he asked for. You know what I mean? But I told him, I said, man, after the rain comes sun. So if you keep pushing, you work them jobs, if you got to get 2 or 3 jobs to feed your stuff, you know, feed your family, feed yourself, you know what I mean? Just keep doing it, because the sun will come eventually. And chase your dreams. That's another thing I tell somebody. That's another thing I tell a 15-year-old is to chase your dreams, or somebody that's younger. I would tell them chase their dreams, because anything's possible.
People say that phrase, the streets don't love nobody, or streets love nobody. What does that actually mean?
The streets don't love nobody. When I say that, it doesn't. It ain't just literally like the street. You know what I mean? They're not talking about literally the street that you drive down. They're talking about the ways in it, the game. You know what I mean? It's a dog-eat-dog world. So everybody's out for themselves. You know what I mean? And the system we up under, I call it the Jim Crow system, you know, not to be on the race level or nothing. But when you see, let's say you walking and you got chains on you, chains as wide as chains you walking down, then you see Django on the horse. It's gonna make you jealous, you know what I mean? So that's what the streets don't love nobody. They will take you if you got more than them. They will hate you. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to be that man in the streets and not knowing you can never be the man in the streets. You can never be the man in the streets, because the streets is always gonna be, it's gonna be somebody coming up on you. It's always gonna be it, you know what I mean? So the streets love nobody. Streets ain't got no love. Everybody, if you think about it, everybody's dying in the streets. People getting locked up in the streets. People losing their family to the streets. You're not seeing nobody prosper through the streets in the right way. You know what I mean? Because even if you're prospering in the streets, you're still hurting somebody else. You might not know. Okay, let's say you're selling this, selling that. You might not know that, you know, they raising kids. You doing it for your family, but you hurting their family. And people don't understand how karma works. Whatever you put out there is going to come back. You know what I mean? So, you know, I done seen the biggest, you know, kingpins die of cancer. You know, he didn't die of getting killed. But at the same time, he didn't serve death and destroy his community. So here comes his karma. You know what I mean? So the streets don't love nobody. You know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, man.